Hey guys, Debby Bubbles here. Welcome back to my channel and into the walls of our home. Y'all, it is cold and snowy outside, so I figured it's time for a hot bowl of something good and delicious and yummy to the tummy. And what better time than tonight? Especially since it's time for quick and easy meals. This is that open collaboration that's hosted every single Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hosts of the collaboration are Simply Grace Lifestyle, Debby Bubbles, Jean Home Decor and More, and My Mountain Home and Kitchen. All right, guys, so the items you're seeing here on this table are the items that are going to go into the making of the meal for tonight's quick and easy meals. And what I'm preparing is taco soup, and for dessert, we're going to have peanut butter cookies. So I'll go over it really quickly. We have about 4 packages of taco seasoning mix, the cookie dough for the cookies. We have some sentitas, yellow corn tortillas, Colby Jack cheese finely shredded, a can of green chilies, petite diced tomatoes, pinto beans, cannellini beans, whole kernel corn, sour cream, a bell pepper, 3 rolls of ground beef, and an onion. Now you may wonder why there is so much stuff here quantity wise. Well, guys, when I do, this is for Sunday dinner, and when the children are coming over to the house, I say children, they are my children. When my adult children come to the house, all of them single people, Mama likes to make sure they get fed, that they have seconds, and that they have something to take home with them. So I do prepare in bulk because I want to make sure that before they leave, everybody has their pre-packaged food to go. We're going to send you off with whatever that meal was and anything else that I can throw in the bag as well, because I want to make sure that my babies are eating, and not that they aren't taking good care of themselves, but if you're a mama, if you're a parent, if you cook, you know what I mean. I just want to make sure that they have something good and hearty and that says love to them. And for me, food speaks love when I feed people, because I'm doing it out of my heart and because I love you and I want you to be healthy and fed well. For starters, we have those 3 pounds of ground beef here on the stove top. We're going to brown them up nicely and get the meat crumpled up. So that is what we are doing here. At some point, I will go in with a few spices and seasonings, and right there, cayenne pepper is one of the first things I'm going to go ahead and put in here, because I've got to have my heat. And then also I had some garlic and pepper seasoning there. We're going to sprinkle a little bit of both of those in there and continue to brown off our ground beef. Alrighty, it is looking good here. We have it about where we need it, and next I'm going to drain it and rinse it. Here it is returned to that same pot after the draining and the rinsing have taken place, and now we're going to put it in the crock pot, which is sitting there to the side. We have it sitting set at 6 hours, one of the fast cooks. So we're going to add that ground beef, and then we're going to go in with each of these cans of beans and corn, chilies, tomatoes, and the seasoning packets, and we're going to get this thing to doing what it does. So let's transfer the ground beef to the pot, the crock pot, and then we're going to add in the undrained petite diced tomatoes. You can use Rotel tomatoes, you can use whatever you want to. This is kind of just Debby Bubbles version. I'm going in with a can of drained whole kernel corn, and then I also have a can of pinto beans that we're adding, undrained, as well as an undrained can of cannellini beans. Now, I picked up the cannellini beans. I was forgetful that it was actually the Great Northern beans that I wanted. They're smaller than the cannellini beans. Taste about the same, no problem there. I just like the smaller bean. There's also my green chilies, and over here in that pot that we browned the ground beef in, I'm going to saute onion and bell peppers with a little bit of butter. While those are sauteing there, we're going to go ahead and add in our 4 packets of taco seasoning mix here to the crock pot with the canned goods as well as that ground beef. Let's check on our sauteed vegetables here. Tongue tied, y'all. So those are looking good. I'm gonna Add a little bit of butter, of course, and I think we've got those kind of where we need them at this point. So I'm going to go in next with some of my all-purpose seasoning as well as some garlic powder here. And once we have those sauteed and ready to go, let's add them. Add them on into that crock pot. So they are piping hot. We're adding it to the crock pot. And next I'm going to rinse the pot itself out with a little bit of water. We don't want to lose any of those vegetables that we have in there or that good seasoning. So we're going to now pour that into the crock pot with the mixture that we already had and give it a good stir. Now this is something that you can tweak to your heart's desire. All right, now that we have everything incorporated, we're going to take a little sample taste here. Needs a little more spice. So we're going to go in with some red pepper flakes. One more good stir, and it is time to, how do they say it? Set it and forget it. So we have our crock pot set on the 6-hour setting. We're going to let it do what it does, and I'll be back to check on it here in a little bit. Now, they say for you not to open the lid of your crock pot while it's cooking. It drops the temperature down, that kind of thing. And so the reason for me checking on it is I have so many other things going. I'm not a crock pot fan. However, I am using the crock pot because this is such a large quantity of food that I need the space. All right, I'm checking on the soup. We're about 2 hours in. If you have followed me for any length of time, you've probably heard me talk about the fact that I hate crock pots. I think they're great for holding the temp maybe of something, but I'm not a big crock pot cooker. I have it more or less for staging purposes, like when I have multiple things going and I need the space. So I do have a few crock pots just for heating staging zones when I'm doing something big here at the house, but otherwise not a big fan at all. I will probably here in the next hour transfer this back to a pot on the stove top so that I can get it to heat through even better and to I don't know, increase the overall temperature of the food, as well as, I don't know, it helps with the consistency to me. I'm just such an old-fashioned, old-school cook that, yeah, I'm a stovetop cooker. Now, is this something that you could prepare on the stovetop? Totally and completely. Why am I not doing it there? Well, because I have some other things I'm working on and I need the space again. So it's just easier to have this sitting over to the side in the crock pot. I'm going to go ahead, transfer this over, warm it up on the stove top, let it boil for a little bit, and then I'll transfer it back to the crock pot. So the next time I see you will be when we're getting ready to serve up a portion of the taco soup. All right, let's set up our toppings here. We have some Colby Jack cheese, some tortilla chips, and sour cream. I would go ahead and do green onions, but nobody's going to use them but me, so we won't bother. So there are our toppings, and I'm going to go grab a bowl. So there is my piping hot taco soup. You don't get it this piping hot unless you do it on stovetop and then add it to the crock pot. Trust me. So we're going to give it a good stir there, and it is about time to plate, or rather bowl, in this situation. So who's hungry? Who's ready? I am. We've got our bowl there, and now let's deep up a piping hot, heaping, warm from your head to your toes serving of this glorious taco soup. So I've got our soup. Let's add a nice dollop of sour cream. I'll end up going back for more. There's a little bit of cheese. We're going to sprinkle there on top. And lastly, we're going to come in with a few of these tortillas here on the side. Now, this is just for show because my bowl will actually have my chips crumbled up inside of it and all this other good stuff on top and more sour cream than what you see there. But y'all, here is that wonderful taco soup. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, one of the quickest meals outside of the time in the crock pot or stove top, however you're doing it. One of the easiest, most satisfying meals that you could have and whip up for your family on a cold winter's day. Let's go dig in, and God willing, I'll be back next week with yet another quick and easy meal.